Tyler, let's get into it. Buffalo Bills, they've had a good offseason. To me, made a few key improvements here along the offensive line, specifically Connor McGovern, the right guard. That's going to be a big one. And I think they're taking a step in the right direction, right? Trying to maybe establish more of a traditional run game instead of just Josh Allen scrambling. As well as bringing in Damian Harris, the running back from the Patriots. So I like those signings. What do you think so far of the Bills offseason?
That was the one, just looking at it right now on the NFL free agency tracker, I see 3 OGs all in a row, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, and then David Quisenberry. 2 of them they obviously added to the Bills. They re-signed David Quisenberry. And to me, that seemed like that was the issue, especially if you look at that Bengals game. That offense, of course, it was a snowy game, so it was a little tough. But offensive line was not able to protect Josh Allen. And we've been saying this for years now, is the Bills cannot run the ball on set running plays. They rank really well in overall total yardage, but that is because Josh Allen has close to 1,000 yards of rushing, it seems like, every single year. And you need to be able to protect, obviously, your star franchise quarterback. And I think in addition to Damian Harris, I think he is an improvement over Devin Singletary, who left and is now with the Texans, I believe. I'll have to double check that. Yes.
Yeah, he's right there.
And in the NFL nowadays, you don't need to have an elite running back, like a Derrick Henry. So having him, he can partner up with, I believe, James Cook? Yeah, James Cook. Yeah. Okay. And because that's all, they just need to have a set running play. Because then we've seen how effective this Bills offense can be when him, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis are all in sync. Like this offense is borderline unstoppable, but they're not able to consistently do that.
So could you imagine if they could establish a consistent run game, have a 1,000-yard rusher that's not named Josh Allen, and then hit play action passes? I mean, that would just be absurd. It would be, like you said, unstoppable. So to me, I think that's a really solid move in the right direction, bringing in those guys, keeping the good parts of that offensive line intact. So a few other additions. Trent Sherfield, I lost my place. Trent Sherfield, Kyle Allen, and then
Deontay Hardy as well.
Yeah, Deontay Hardy. So, and then all in all, I really like what they brought in. However, they do have some bigger losses. So Tremaine Edmunds, the linebacker to the Bears, that's a really big loss. He really started to play well for them. Well, he always was a good linebacker, but this last season there was his best season yet. Really started to pick up their coverage schemes. You already mentioned Devin Singletary. He left, but he was replaced by Damian Harris. Jaquan Johnson, the safety, secondary depth was an issue. Isaiah McKenzie left. He didn't really pan out to be what they had hoped. And then Justin Murray, the right tackle, left as well. So a few big losses there, highlighted by the Tremaine Edmunds loss. That's going to hurt this defense, especially this defense is already getting older, especially on that back half, and they really struggled with depth last season.
Yeah, it's that they've replaced everything else except linebacker, and that's actually kind of one of the things that I'm thinking about when moving into their draft and what they might do in the draft is that's a lot of people are projecting linebackers to kind of go early second round, but I wouldn't be surprised maybe if the Bills also maybe took a linebacker there because they're like sitting at, I think, 28, I believe, 28. If you include the forfeited pick. So maybe Jack Campbell could go and replace him, Trent Simpson. We've said these guys before just in other videos, I think, with the Giants who are picking in a similar spot that also need a linebacker. But that to me, I think is going to be one of the spots that they go. If not, then they can also maybe go and address the offensive line again. Maybe if Darnell Wright is available, I kind of like that landing spot right there. DeJuan Jones, I think it's also a good guy there.
Yeah, no, definitely. You took the words right out of my mouth. Jack Campbell to me would be the fit if you're going to go with the first round linebacker at 28. I really like him there. I think schematically is exactly what they would want because they do need that bigger strong side linebacker. That's what Tremaine Edmunds was. Jack Campbell can do that. Athletically, he's actually a really strong athlete. and he shows that in coverage, and he comes downhill really well. He's pretty much a complete linebacker. So I think that's a really good landing spot for him. If they don't want to go that route and they address the offensive line in the first round, I really like DeMarvion Overshone for them in about the third round area, late third round. He's also really long, comes downhill really well. He's a little bit more raw in coverage, but in the third round, you're going to have to work on something. So I think those are a couple linebacker prospects for them. And then kind of what you said, first couple rounds, if they don't take an offensive lineman, I think that GM should be fired, because they really need to build depth across this offensive line, especially out at the tackle positions. There's a couple really good offensive tackles that are going to be going in the second round. Jalen Duncan, Blake Freeland, I both really like. They're both really athletic. Jalen Duncan has higher upside. I think Blake Freeland is a little bit better right now. You're going to have to work on his technique. He does bend at the hips a little too much, but again, second round tackle, you're going to have to work on something. So I really like those picks for them. I think those would be good fits. And
it's Bills can go a lot of different directions. Starting to see, and not to be pessimistic, but maybe kind of losing their grasp as one of the dominant. Like, they're still a dominant AFC team, but even in this division, like the Jets, like let's say the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, that's going to really improve them a lot. Miami seems to be improving. Patriots, it's still the Patriots. They have Bill O'Brien. Maybe
they played them really tough in week 18. So
like it is not like unforeseeable to maybe see them quickly lose their grasp on their control, on their dominance control in the AFC East.
Yeah, and as long as they have Josh Allen, they're always going to be a playoff contender. But one of the hard parts about staying, like they've been a Super Bowl contender for a very long time, and the hardest part about being a Super Bowl contender is staying a Super Bowl contender, because you have to maintain that top 4 team status in the NFL for a long period of time. And that's really hard to do. And I think Josh Allen has the skill set to do it. I just think when you like break it down, Josh Allen might need a little bit more help than Patrick Mahomes on the offensive side of the ball. I know that's going to be a controversial opinion amongst Bills fans, but I think the Bills are going to have to do a little bit more than the Kansas City Chiefs. To be one of the top teams. So
well, I will say this, there was a big noticeable difference between when Brian Daboll was running the offense and then not. And we started to see that a lot in the second half of the season. So maybe it's just a transition into a new system and now they're used to it. But I wonder how much that played an impact on their performance last year.
Yeah, and especially when you saw them go against some of the teams later in the season, I just think you could really start to see a difference in the offensive quality, because it wasn't that like they had a bunch of like arid plays or like just totally miscommunication, like total miscommunications. Like, I mean, if you watch the Patriots play, every other offensive play, there was a wide receiver running the wrong route. Mac Jones was dropping F-bombs at Matt Patricia at the sideline. Like, it was a mess. That wasn't happening in Buffalo. It was just plays weren't run to the efficiency that Brian Daboll had them running at. And maybe that's just a first-year coordinator thing. Kind of what you said, maybe it's a transition into a new system. So we'll have to see if they can figure that out. I do like what they've done in free agency. I think they've set themselves up well for the draft to go in. They can have more set run plays, really factor in more of a play action system, and keep defenses more on their toes. So I like what the Bills have done. And let's go ahead and wrap them up there. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and smash that bell so you get notified when Tyler and I create new content. Leave a comment down below on what you want to see the Bills do in the 2023 NFL Draft. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.